Hi there everyone, I'm just on a dog walk with Barney here, loves a swim, and I thought I'd share with you what happened in the SBL this Tuesday. As you know, complete reformat of the exam. It's moved from 4 hours to 3.25. I've had messages from lots of people in all different corners of the world on what the exam included, and I'd just like to share them with you. So, due to the global nature of the qualification, the same exam is not sat by everyone all over the world, and there are different variants of it. And fortunately, people from different corners of the globe have shared with me what came up for them, and I just want to summarize it for you, and hopefully you'll learn something. So it has 3 tasks, and I just want to talk about each task. Task 1, for most people, talked about culture. And basically the business Courgettes had started as an entrepreneurial business with 2 brothers and had then 20 years later become floated on the stock exchange. And the first task was asking you to talk about how maybe early culture and later culture differed and whether it was appropriate or not. I think what you could have used there, obviously lots of information, but maybe a catalyst of something like the cultural web would have worked really well. I think had you read the article I shared with you on that, I think you would have had no problem whatsoever dealing with it. The second part of task 1 was a question asking about CSR, and again in our pre-scene webinar that we had together, we talked quite a bit about social responsibility in the airline industry and what we needed to concern ourselves with. So hopefully if you attended that webinar, you would be pretty well prepared. What was also great, we did a very similar question on our final mock exam about CSR and its impact in the world of aviation. So all those things should have contributed to hopefully a good answer for you. Then on task 2, well, there was 2 main variants that most people saw on task 2. The first one was about introducing artificial intelligence into pilot training, and you were asked to evaluate that project. And then there was another project where there was 2 options. One was increasing routes, and the other one was looking at first-class flights. Whichever one you got, the best way of dealing with that would have been to follow through with, is it suitable, is it feasible, is it acceptable? And if you have not yet taken it and you have a look at that, have a look at my podcast, have a look at the videos on it, and yeah, lots of information to help you out there. So go and have a look. So the other great thing, when we did our pre-scene webinar, we did discuss in quite a bit of detail, should we use first class seats? And really it was all about, if you were a cost leader, it's completely inappropriate to go down, try to differentiate yourself. So if you've taken on board those comments and thought about them, that should have really helped if you got the question on the first class option. So should have been pretty happy on that one. The second part talked about risk, and really it just looked at the risks that were already given in the pre-scene material, and fairly straightforward if you just followed it through using a framework to hold on to, maybe something like the TARA framework, you would have been absolutely fine on that one. And then task 3 talked about big data analytics and disruptive technology, and whether it was appropriate in a business such as Courgettes, which obviously was low cost. I think they were trying to get at the fact that technology is expensive, which it is, but in a high volume business, it would facilitate lots of economies of scale. Cost per units would come down. So yeah, first class was definitely not an option to talk about. So yeah, that was something we had talked about, and if you'd taken on board, we should have been fine. And then the final part of task 3 was asking about how we talk to stakeholders. So how we would report maybe our CO2 emissions, how we would report communication to suppliers, and really had you followed through what I'd said on integrated reporting, you would have been able to use that as a catalyst to really develop and explain what was going on there. So of the main questions I saw, I think you should be pretty happy. I'm just a little bit worried about the tide here. The tide, I live by the river in London, and the tide is rapidly coming in. So I've got 2 minutes to keep going. There were, in addition to the tasks I've mentioned, obviously not everyone gets the same exam, and there were students in some parts of the world who got a question where there was some financial information and you were asked to talk about the movements in that and comment on them. But you know, again, remember SBL is an applied exam, it's not a technical one, so the way in which you'd have to deal with that would be using commercial acumen rather than technical skills of working out, you know, ratios. So yeah, that was fine. And then some people got a question talking about the benefits of NEDs. You had to do it in slide format. So if you got that, you must have been really happy. And also, what would be the benefit of a diversified board? So I think it was a pretty fair exam. I think if you were prepared, if you had followed my videos, had you then and acquired the knowledge and then applied that knowledge through the mocks, where you understood time management with all the feedback I gave you as well, you should have been pretty well prepared, and you should feel pretty confident, if I'm honest. I'd say not really worth getting in contact with me, asking me about could I, should I, would I. It's over, it's done. You can't change your past. What you can change is your future. If you need any advice on what to do going forward, WhatsApp me and I'll try and help you. But wish you the best all going forward. And I think I need to get out of here because I'm going to get wet as the tide rapidly rises. So well done for all your work. Barney, are you going to go in for a swim? Go on then.